Okay, we know I have no love for Zillow.
Okay.
I've said it. I've said it a million times on my channel. But I got to talk about what's everybody saying about 2023. That is what's on everyone's mind right now, especially home buyers who are looking to get into the market and especially the first timers. So, what's going to happen? Well, here we are at the end of the year. And of course, all the experts are out with their predictions for the housing market for 2023. So if you've watched my live stream last week, I shared some information about what some experts were saying. But this week, I solely wanted to talk about Zillow's bold predictions for 2023. I think you're going to be a little surprised about what I have to say about Zillow's predictions. So let's get started. Now, Zillow, they've been off the mark before. I don't want to sit here and beat them up, but they've been off the mark before. But some of these predictions, I will have to say, do I dare say it? I actually kind of agree with some of the things that they're predicting, but I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? So let's get into this right now. As we all know, the Sun Belt, like Florida, Arizona, Texas, all those areas in the South in the last couple of years have just, the prices have just skyrocketed because everybody's flocking to the South because people didn't have to go into an office. So those who lived up north have been moving it down south and working from home and living a good life. So with that came a really large surge in prices, especially in Florida. Well, now Zillow is saying that the Midwest is going to be front and center in 2023. Yes. So look what they have to say. Florida markets dominated the annual appreciation leaderboard in 2022, with Tennessee, the Carolinas, and Texas metro areas peppering into the top spots among the 100 largest metros. The heat will stay on in the Sunshine State, to be sure, but as affordability has become the key driver of both supply and demand in the market, places that still feature reasonable prices are already seeing momentum shift their way and should have the healthiest housing markets in 2023. Enter the Midwest. Unlike nearly every other region in the United States, prices in most Midwest metro areas haven't run up to extremes. Mortgage costs as a share of income are still within healthy sub 30% levels across Ohio, Pennsylvania, Kansas, and upstate New York, and Iowa and smaller metros in Illinois, which will allow first-time homebuyers to take the plunge. Lower rents and home prices in these areas make it easier to save up for a down payment. Having available houses to choose from is another key component of a healthy market, and the Midwest stands out. Inventory isn't a massive hole compared to pre-pandemic times, and declines in new listings are smaller than a national average, encouraged by more consistent demand from buyers. This makes total sense. It's just so unaffordable in the South right now. I mean, from what I'm seeing and hearing, like homes in Florida are almost as expensive as here in New Jersey. I mean, it's really insane is what's happened in the South and Texas too, and the Carolinas. The prices are just gone up. So this makes sense. If people are looking for affordability, absolutely, this would be great. You know, going to either Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois. The only drawback is it's your lifestyle. If you can tolerate the cold winters, the bad winters, I mean, they get a lot of snow. That's just how it is there. I mean, if you're okay with that, this could be a good option for you. And I've heard this recently. I actually had people comment on my channel saying, I had one person saying they were looking to move out to Ohio because it was just so much cheaper there. I get that. This is where I do agree with Zillow.
Okay, that makes sense.
This is going to be the market to watch in 2023. You're going to see people flocking to the Midwest now just because it's cheap. They can afford it. So I'm going to keep my eye on that one. The second prediction that they have is they say buying with friends and relatives will gain momentum. So here's what they have to say about this. A Zillow survey fielded this spring found that among successful recent home buyers, 18% had purchased along with a friend or relative who wasn't their spouse or partner, and 19% of prospective home buyers intended to buy with a friend or relative in the next 12 months. For both groups, affordability and qualifying for a mortgage were cited as the top reasons for buying together, challenges that are now even more acute. Mortgage payments for a typical U.S. home rose from needing 27% of a median household income in January. It rose to 30% in March, and then again to 37% in October. It's far beyond the 30% threshold where housing becomes a financial burden. This I can get behind. I can totally get behind this. And I've seen people buy their homes with their parents and having multi-generational homes. I got to tell you, I like that idea. I like having grandparents living with the families. I mean, some people may not. They don't want to have their in-laws living with them. But look, we're at a time right now where if you want to be able to afford to live in a home, buy a home, it just may have to be that way. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it would be great having grandparents living with their grandkids. I mean, how cool is that? And as far as childcare, I mean, if the mom and dad have to work, they have their parents there to help out with taking care of the kids. I think this is true. You're going to see this trend a lot in the coming year. Honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing. The third prediction Zillow has is affordability crisis will stabilize, if not improve. Improve? I don't know about that, but let's see what they have to say. Zillow expects national home values to remain relatively flat next year and even fall in the most affordability challenged markets. Mortgage rates, highly impactful to the mortgage payment, are seeing some recent and encouraging progress downwards as inflation and labor market tightness shows small signs of easing, enough to lead some to suggest the Federal Reserve may ease its aggressive monetary contraction. If we've actually turned the corner on inflation, that should continue. Volatility in mortgage rates could continue through early 2023. However, an ongoing challenge for those who saw their ability to qualify for the same mortgage change on a monthly or even weekly basis this summer. Rent growth should hew closer to historical norms next year as well. Annual growth has come down quickly from a massive peak of 17.1% in February to 9.6% year over year in October. Rents actually fell during the month of October for the first time in 2 years, a signal of a return to regular seasonal patterns. Meanwhile, builders are working to increase the supply of rental properties at a record pace. Stabilize, yes. Improve, where prices are going to fall and people are going to be able to afford it again. Sorry. Nope, I don't agree with that. And it's because of the lack of inventory. The inventory is still going to be an issue in 2023. I hate to say it because remember, most people, mortgage holders, homeowners have interest rates below 5%, 4% in the threes. Nobody wants to give up those low interest rates. That's the big issue we're having right now. Unless interest rates come down to a level where if people are willing to make that move, where they may have to pay a little bit more on their mortgage payments, I don't see the affordability getting that much better. Will it stabilize? I think it will. But if you've been watching me this whole year, I keep telling you it's the inventory that's going to really prevent the prices from coming down because there's going to be so many people bidding up these properties. It's still going to continue, guys. I hate to say that. And that's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I don't see it. Unless we get a ton of inventory, those prices are not going to dip. Sorry, Zillow. Going to say no on that one. Don't agree with you. Stabilizing, maybe. Improving, I don't think so. Can you just do me a quick favor before we go to the next part? Can you just subscribe? Like, hit that subscribe button down there. And like this video too. Give me a thumbs up. So appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, you can carry on now. The fourth prediction they have is a surge in landlords in 2023. This one is quite interesting. It says here the record low mortgage rates of 2020 and 2021 spurred lots of investment in the second house, especially from mom and pop investors getting their second property. As rent growth continues its aggressive pace, many of these second homes have an even better potential to yield regular rental income above the mortgage payment fixed with record low rates. The potential for regular income, bearish expectations for stock markets in 2023, and the big pullback from home buyers due to higher mortgage rates may reinforce the incentive to hold on to those investment properties, especially in the areas like the Midwest Sunbelt, where household formation and housing demand is stronger. Rents should rise faster than home values over the next year, and many will choose to rent out their property. That I can get behind. And I'm speaking from experience. You all know I did a video a while ago. We had bought our first investment property in 2021 solely for the purpose of investing. And it's been working out great. It really has. I mean, we lucked out. We got it at a really good price, a good interest rate, and we have nice income coming into that rental property. So I can see this where people may want to just take advantage and rent it out for the time being. Honestly, it'd be nice if they sold it, but...
You got it, dude.
Look, I don't know if nobody want to sell right now because they're probably not going to get the price that they paid for a couple of years ago. But I think the idea of becoming a landlord, I think it's a good thing. I say this all the time. I think investing in real estate is like the best option. And as Zillow does say here, that the stock markets they're still predicting it's going to be pretty volatile in 2023. And I think the safest bet is to those who own those second properties. I would consider renting them out for the time being. I think you're going to make some nice income, and and who knows, maybe you can get into investing even into more properties. So I agree with Zillow on this one. I think we're going to see that happen. Share your comments with me. Let me know down below, what do you think about Zillow's predictions? Do you agree with any of them? Do you disagree with them? Let me know. I'm really curious. I just love to know what everybody has to say about it. The final prediction that Zillow has is new construction strength will be in rentals. This is interesting. I didn't even hear about this, that builders are now building multifamily units. So listen to what Zillow had to say. Builders of multifamily units are, in contrast, much more bullish. The number of multifamily units to start construction each month has fairly steadily increased, reaching 8% up from pre-pandemic in October. Elevated multifamily permits also point to a strong vote of confidence and continued demand for rental units despite looming recession fears. This confidence will also encourage more construction of build-for-rent homes, as would-be homeowners would need to continue renting until later life stages if now unable to qualify and move forward with the purchase of their own. I had no idea about this, but builders are now getting into the multifamily units. And look, I get it. Look, they have a business to run. The single family construction, there's been a huge pullback since the mortgage rates came up. So now they're going to be jumping in on creating rental properties, which, okay, that's great. But what bothers me about this is, like, we're now just making only rentals available, like encouraging people just to rent a home rather than buy. And again, the inventory is such a problem. It's such a problem here. So are we ever going to meet the demand of home buyers? So here's another scenario where that's great. You're building these multifamily homes, but can you build like more single family homes and just be ready for, to meet that demand when those rates come back down? Am I being ridiculous, like thinking this? What do you guys think about that? Does that bother you? It kind of bothers me to see that the new construction, they're building multifamily for rentals. No, we have an inventory crisis here. We have way too many buyers and not enough supply. It's so frustrating to read that. Oh my God. It's got to stop. It's got to stop.
I'm a little stressed out, to be honest.
We don't need to be focusing on the rentals right now. I understand, like, they're in the business to make money. They need to sell homes. Then build more affordable homes. There's a solution. I don't know. That's my thought. But, I'm just a real estate agent from New Jersey. I'm just, but that's my opinion. So what do you all think about that? Do you have an issue with that, with builders building multifamily units for rent? I don't know. You tell me. What do you think about that? If you want to know more about what's going on with this housing market for next year, you can check this video out. I did a couple weeks ago. And again, feel free to comment on that. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching me today. I am Jackie Baker, and thank you for joining me to get your dose of real estate reality. And I will see you next time.